Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Jumputi Heroes news video. Today it's a little bit different though. Today we are talking about leaks, and not just any leaks, but leaks that didn't come from me. I didn't data download anything, I wasn't looking around in the files and poking and prodding. No, this came from a completely separate source from myself, despite the developers' absolute best efforts to prevent this from happening. The big blockbuster news for the anniversary has already leaked, and that is of course because they made an ad in Weekly Shonen Jump, which they tend to do. I mean, it's an anniversary, they got to promote the game, I get it, but what they don't seem to realise is that Weekly Shonen Jump has a habit of leaking about a week early, not quite a full week, maybe like 5 days early, thereabouts. And you get your weekly leaked One Piece chapter on a Friday, but there are scans available earlier than that, and this is one of those scans that came out earlier than that, and it is the lineup for the 4th anniversary. I kind of feel bad, and it is kind of underwhelming to see it all leaked in this fashion, because they really did try to make sure nothing leaked. You know, the data download and the maintenance were both scheduled for like during the live stream, and the live stream was like last minute. Like the live stream I think was finishing like 2 hours before the actual anniversary, so everything was like absolute last minute to do their absolute best to prevent it from leaking. But that's just the way it is, and this image popped up in many places, Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth. It was bound to happen, and well, it is what it is. Now I will say this won't be everything. There is other stuff for this anniversary. I mean, first of all, the anniversary is in 3 parts, so there's loads more to come. Just like for 2nd anniversary, that was in 3 parts, and that was quite a substantial event. There was loads of stuff going on there. And I dare say it will be the same again here. But this will be most of what we see in part 1. I would imagine some of this stuff kind of crosses over and whatever, and there'll be some more units added in, which we'll talk about as we go through. But let's start off with the big news, which is, of course, the new Muso character, Goldie Roger. Very good to see him in game. I love the sprite. It looks so good. Very, very happy with it. And it's a bit troubling for me because of all the units here that would cost rubies, he's definitely the one that appeals to me the most. And that's a problem because he's so expensive. And I haven't had an opportunity to talk about the Countdown campaign because I was kind of working on the news post and working on a video for that. And then this dropped. So one thing I will say is the Muso gacha that we saw in the Countdown campaign, that is another instance of the devs doing something that I'm really not comfortable with. We had that new Heroes gacha during the Yu Yu Hakusho Hunter x Hunter event that most people were very unhappy with, because it was just so many rubies. You know, you didn't get a guarantee to get specific units or get a choice ticket or whatever, and so there were some people spending like thousands and thousands and thousands of rubies to get a specific character, not being able to get them, which under normal circumstances would be very frustrating. But because those units are limited time only and we don't know when they will come back, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be, I mean, we have some limited time event stuff that hasn't come back since it came out, or the event's been retired and the unit's been put somewhere else. Like, there's so much stuff in this game that they've tried to make special, limited, exclusive, and then they've kind of decided, actually, that's stupid. But most of the time, that's events. In this case, it's gacha, and so even if this gacha does come back, unless they make changes to it, you'll be in the exact same boat of you've got to spend a shitload of rubies and you have no guarantee of getting the one you want. So I wasn't very happy with that, but then during this countdown, we got the Muso Banner, which we knew was coming, and it gave a Muso choice ticket on the last step. And it was giving a limited every 8 multis. So I was pretty excited about that, because that is a change to the format, and it seemed like a good step forward, and we were hoping that when Roger came out, we were assuming it was Roger at the time, but now we know, when Roger came out, that we would get a limited every 8 steps on that banner, which would be incredible. Unfortunately, that countdown gacha is a bit different, and that countdown gacha does not cost 24,000 rubies because there are no free multis on it. So instead, yes, you do get your choice of Muso on the 30-second multi, but every multi costs 1,000 rubies. So that banner will cost you 32,000 rubies for one unit. I'd like you to remember that the best offer, the absolute best possible offer, bang for your buck, you can get if you were trying to buy rubies. Well, I mean, I don't even know how to put it. Like, if you're buying them in bulk, but you can only buy that pack once. Generally speaking, the best pack they put on is 3,000 rubies for 10,000 yen. That's the best you can get in terms of bulk buying. Because a lot of the better value packs you can't buy many of, but that one you can buy 3 times, and they print that one quite regularly. So if you're trying to get a large amount of rubies, that would be the only way to do it. So what? That's like $100. That's like $100. So you would have, if you bought that pack 10 times, that would cost you $1,000, and you still wouldn't have enough. To me, that is not only unimaginably greedy, but quite frankly completely fucking unacceptable, because you're putting it out at a time when you're not giving out loads of rubies. This event had no login bonus. Where were people supposed to get these rubies from? I don't think they even made it possible to buy that many rubies from packs at this point in time. Like, maybe if you bought just the normal rubies, but that's like even worse price to return value. So personally, for me, they've made some bad decisions, but okay, they've allowed this to be leaked, which is not great. And Roger is there, and Roger's really cool, but I can't really bring myself to spend on it. And the rest of the stuff is it's just not really for me, which is kind of a shame. I know a load of people are going to be super excited about Asta. We've got Devil Union Asta, and he seemingly is going to be the first limited ever to have the new transformation mechanic, which means you can see there we've got like our buff time skip Asta with little Liba right next to him, and by fulfilling some sort of requirements or by doing something specific, he will transform into his Devil Union form. I am interested to see how this will work. I am a little bit concerned about the exact implementation, because I have a feeling it might just be another case of double tap where it's like turn limited and it's very like, this is very good in PvP and then maybe not that good anywhere else, but we don't know yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But Asta, for me, of all the things in Black Clover, is not something that interests me that much. We also have limited All Might and Deku, and that's kind of a weird one for me. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do when I saw the countdown thing, they officially said like the theme of the anniversary is legend, characters of legend, and it's like, yeah, really, All Might and Deku? Like, I mean, All Might, sure, but Deku, like, less so. Maybe if it was a version of him from later in the story, but even that doesn't even make sense. Like, it's not really legendary, is it? And the same with Asta, that doesn't really make sense either. But okay, Black Clover, for me, I feel like My Hero Academia and Black Clover, that's two series where I enjoy the series, but I haven't really enjoyed the way they've been implemented in Jumputi a lot of the time. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the character choices or just the general implementations and whatever. I'm not that interested. I don't know. To come with some of these characters that we've seen, we have a transforming Luffy in the middle there. he is not gacha. He is a free-to-play unit that we will get from login bonus. I assume it'll be the same as the dual units we got during the crossover event, the same as the Brook we got during the 2nd anniversary, or the 3rd anniversary, or whenever that was, where you can farm copies of the unit later. So I assume we'll be able to get this Luffy up to 99 luck. And pretty cool. This is our introduction to the transformation mechanic, because I assume he will either come out earlier than Asta or around the same time, but he'll be like one of the first units you obtain from this event, and he will have the transformation mechanic. It looks like, there's a lot of glare on the page, but it looks like to me that is like pre-time skip Luffy, and so probably transforms into Gear 2nd, I'm guessing, which makes sense because that leaves room for later they can do a transforming Luffy that turns Gear 4 or Snake Man or whatever else. And yeah, the transformation mechanic, I mean, there's definitely a lot of possibilities. I think it makes sense to introduce it because it gives them an opportunity to go back and revisit some of the characters that maybe they released them just a little bit too early and then you need another go at them. Like for example, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, like you can revisit that unit now and you can have like a new limited Gohan that goes Super Saiyan 2 when you transform him, and people will be very excited for that and pull for that. I think Dragon Ball specifically benefits a lot from it because, you know, how many times has Goku transformed to get out of a difficult situation? So yeah, that makes sense. And, you know, One Piece, yes, definitely has lots to gain from it. We could get Sanji and he transforms into Osoba Mask if we do get that One Piece event I was thinking we were going to get. There's options. Now, it's a bit weird because it's like we've had characters that transform. This event we have characters that transform. Like Hiei and Killua, they transform when they use their ultimate attack. But this is different. This is a specific mechanic where I assume they will gain additional abilities and they will change form when they activate their transformation. So it's interesting, but remains to be seen how it will be implemented. We'll know in a week. At least within the next week, we will know. And then as for the units at the bottom, these are all free units. So we have Shigaraki and All For One, which is a bit of a weird one. I've really been wanting a limited Shigaraki, and I mean, it just doesn't seem to be happening. I don't know. And then we have Noct as a free-to-play unit, which sucks, bro. Which fucking sucks. He should be limited. He should be limited. What are they doing? Now, it has been pointed out, this is a character that has many forms, so of course down the line a limited one is possible, or a transforming one, or whatever. Yeah, it's totally possible, but a little bit disappointing for me. Really feels like a character, like if you wanted to breathe life into this event, I really feel like having him as a limited would have been better. But this is definitely kind of what they do for anniversaries. Like, if you look back, the limiteds are almost always like these hype beast characters. Like, whatever manga is popular right now, probably a protagonist, if not one of the most desired characters from that series. That's kind of how it goes. That's how it kind of has to be. I get it. I do totally get it. But I'm hoping that there's a little bit more to this anniversary than what we see here. As for the other event units, Smoker, obviously coming over from the Taiwan version. Don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know if that means Boa Hancock is like a standard gacha unit or something. I don't know if she... I don't know. Maybe he'll just be some kind of other free-to-play unit. It's kind of hard to say right now. There's no evidence of the standard gacha here. So we don't know if there is going to be one. We don't know if there's going to be more event units. I mean, you've got to remember that the anniversary is kind of a big deal, so it wouldn't be a surprise if this event was just kind of overflowing with units. But at the same time, like, for new players, it's going to be very difficult to keep up. There's too many. So there's got to be some kind of balance there. Young Whitebeard, who, as I said before, I was so excited for. Very happy to see him there. And you know I'm going to be aiming to get him to max limit break, and he'll be my new 99 luck lead, which will be very, very nice. Which is a shame, actually, because I just limit broke Koala. And Koala, well, they're going to be the same type, aren't they? Koala was green, and young Whitebeard will also be green, unless they do a thing where you beat his stage and he changes colour or something. I don't know. But we know Roger's going to be red, so it is what it is. And then finally, Byakuya Ishigami from Dr. Stone, which is very much an outlier here because doesn't seem to correspond to anything in the gacha, so presumably there's like a standard gacha or something that counters him. You've got to look back to kind of see what they might be doing here. They normally have a standard gacha and then they have a boost gacha. That's what they like to do for the big events like anniversaries. So possibly Dr. Stone has some boost gacha here, but this is very tricky because assuming this was part 1, assuming this was similar to the first anniversary, oh no, the third anniversary, sorry. The limiteds would sort of be both in part 1 but sort of spanning part 1 and 2, and then they would counter their respective stages. So Asta would counter Noct, and then Deku and All Might would counter Shiggy and All for One, and then Smoker, like who counters Smoker we don't know yet, but what's he going to be, a Transcendent? Could be a Unity battle? Or Luffy is login bonus, so that's a farmable stage later on, doesn't really matter. Whitebeard countered by I was gonna call him Goldbeard, Goldie Roger, and then Byakuya countered by nobody, we don't know, but there must be room for a standard gacha here. I would say there should be a standard gacha and a boost gacha. And I don't know who it's going to be. And I mean, really, when we talk about themes, we've not followed them. The only characters, in my opinion, that fit the theme are All Might. Not All Might. Well, I mean, to an extent, All Might, I guess. But he's part of a dual unit. It doesn't feel right. Whitebeard and Gold Roger, the only ones that fit the legend theme. So I don't know what that's about. Really weird event. I gotta be honest, as far as an advertisement, this doesn't excite me that much, which is kind of sad because it's the anniversary. Admittedly, it's in 3 parts. There's obviously going to be loads more stuff, and obviously the things they want to advertise are the things that are going to draw people in, the high B stuff, Dr. Stone literally just ended, so of course, if there is space on the page, get Byakuya in there. Black Clover, My Hero Academia is still going strong. One Piece still going strong. Those are the units you're going to want to promote. So maybe there are some series in here that are older, that are not currently running in Jump, and they didn't feel the need to promote those as much in the advertisement, because people reading Jump might not necessarily know those series as much, but they might still be added in regardless somewhere. And who they will be, I don't know. I mean, I guess we have to wait and see. But I'm definitely expecting some standard gacha. And then as for part 2 and part 3, I've seen so many people asking for Jujutsu Kaisen. Sometimes it's easy to think it's just like our little English community that's obsessed with it. But the movie dropped and you saw the numbers it did. Not just in the US, not just in the UK, in Japan. You saw the numbers it did. People are obsessed with that series. Maybe not in the same way they were with Kimetsu no Yaiba, but like it's getting there. It's certainly getting there. And it just seems so obvious. But we've said it so many times and it hasn't happened. And I've seen so many Japanese fans on Twitter saying, but surely Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Surely this time Jujutsu Kaisen. And with the movie having just come out, like having that little mini event at the end be Jujutsu Kaisen 0, it just seems so obvious. Heck, if you want another transforming unit, Yuta can be a transforming unit. You can have Yuta and then he could transform and have Rika there with him. That can be a thing. There's no reason that can't be a thing. But I don't know. I'm definitely going to make a video at some point talking about some of the transforming units I think we might see. But at the end of the day, I guess it really is just any idea for a limited, because it's quite a common trope. So I don't know. But we'll talk about all of this more at a later date. The countdown, I don't really have much to say on, I guess, because it's really just you get 500 rubies for logging in, you get another 500 rubies for logging in on the day of the live stream, and then there's just a bunch of reprints. We're going to get more information within the next couple of days. There are a couple of gacha which I don't really recommend summoning on, except the start dash gacha, which more information on that once I get the news post up. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all a little bit closer to the anniversary.